Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. A platform fighter from Nintendo that also functions as gaming's biggest crossover event ever. Many say it's impossible to predict who will come next, but stubbornly, I used a bespoke mathematical formula to do it anyway. How accurate has that math been so far? Well, that's not important. What is important is how we're going to make it even better. Well, that's where I come in. So let's shake off those bad vibes, recommit ourselves to the Smash Math, and use some new and improved mathematical methods to go further than we've ever dared before. Whittling down the thousands of potential Smash newcomers until we find the one statistically perfect individual who is the single most mathematically likely to appear in Fighters Pass 2. Maybe it'll be your favourite. You should definitely keep watching, just in case. To start, let's recap the concept of the Smash Math for any new members of the mathematical congregation. A year ago, we inspected the entire lineup of fighters included in Smash Bros. Ultimate and Fighters Pass 1, extracted all the things that define them as characters, and used the resulting data to create this list of attributes the 6 fighters appearing in Fighters Pass 2 were therefore mathematically likely to also represent. There's a bit more to it than that, but you can just watch the previous videos if you want all those juicy details. It was all going pretty well, honestly, with the first 3 fighters being math compatible, but Pyra and Mithra changed all that. Which brings us to today, and how we're not only going to fix the math, but greatly expand it with 3 new exciting formulas which, as they're slowly combined, will allow us to narrow down the pool of potential fighters until we're able to lock on to the single most likely newcomer. But before I let you get to any of that good stuff, did you know that 93% of you cheeky so-and-sos are not subscribed? 2% of you are German, and you also like to watch 1 year later Choco Bonnie has returned, but melted to death. But focusing on the subscription thing for a moment, if you've enjoyed yourself here in the past, or if you're new and getting good vibes already, then click that subscribe button. You've made the right choice. Now, back to the Smash Math. What are the 3 formulas that'll fix this whole situation? Well, let's begin with... Sure, the classic formula got egg on its face, but as we all know, the math is never wrong. We were clearly just analysing the wrong things. So, by chopping out the unnecessary bits, we're left with this mathematically pristine grid, featuring the attributes of the final DLC fighters. As you can see, platformers and characters of Eastern geographical origin dominate the board, but it's not so bad. With our genre spots allowing for subgenres like action platformers, there's still plenty of wiggle room to be deployed if necessary. So that's the classic formula we all know and love, but now it's time to venture out of our comfort zone a bit and dive forehead first into something entirely new. For this formula, we'll be breaking down the entire Smash Bros. Roster into their clothing preferences. For example, as a general rule, the cuter, more mascot-like characters tend to keep their garments to a minimum, while those with more realistic designs are quicker to hide their shame, lest Smash accidentally get itself an M rating. To keep things simple, we'll only be counting the clothing on a character's default render, and we'll be boiling down all forms of apparel into these 5 clothing classifications. Hats, like a helmet, baseball cap, or crown. Tops, like a t-shirt or dress. Bottoms, or pants, to use American terminology, like jeans or shorts. And finally, gloves and shoes are pretty self-explanatory. Accessories that happen to be body-bound do not count as clothing using these rules, so hair ties and masks are not hats, and let's be real, DK's tie and Banjo's backpack are not tops. So I went through the entire Smash roster with this in mind and created this grid, which will be used to predict a future fighter's fashion taste with laser precision. Which, after accounting for the fighters pass so far, leaves us with this. Wow, that's really not an awful lot of clothes to go around, isn't it? Well, if that's how the math shakes out, who am I to doubt it? Let me ask you this, what's more important to Smash Brothers than hands? A hand is the very first thing we see in the series, the returning antagonists are literally just hands, and Sakurai himself even brings along both his hands to every single Smash Direct. So, naturally, we'll be counting the amount of digits a character has per hand, ranging from 0 all the way up to the 5 fingers seen on more realistic human characters. Real quick, side note, am I the first person to notice that Pichu has a single disgusting finger sticking out of its arm? Oh god. So, taking that and other, less horrific finds into account, I was able to generate this grid showing the finger allowance of Fighters Pass 2. Which, taking into account the 3 characters with 5 regular human fingers, as well as Steve, who, it's really not clear to be honest, but who cares, we've got a slot ready for just such an occasion, leaving us with these for the final 2 fighters to adorn their hands with. So that's the Formula Trio in all their glory. But before we start combining them together to find the most likely newcomers possible, let's look at whom each formula certifies individually, so as many people get to feel good about themselves as possible. First up to the bat is the classic math. It's been with us all this time through thick and thin, and has just seen its most dramatic transformation yet. But has your favourite character won its approval this one last time? What a beautiful rogues gallery! While the math is now quite limited in terms of genre and place of origin, the removal of era and gender from consideration has opened the floodgates for some new blood, such as Quote from Cave Story, the Prince from Katamari, Chibi Robo, Bub and Bob from Bubble Bobble, and even the Knight and Hornet from Hollow Knight, as their Australian origin makes them East enough to qualify. Dante even has an argument if you really squint and say he's from an action platforming game. It has a jump button, is what I'm saying. Well, that sure was a lot of fan-favourite characters basking in the light of math certification. But it is still entirely possible that your favourite still hasn't made the cut. But never fear, maybe our fashion formula could offer them a second chance. Whose appealing apparel secures them a math-certified spot using this formula. Fighters able to shed enough clothing to fulfill their outfit obligations include the totally nude Spyro the Dragon, Amaterasu from Okami, Monokuma from Danganronpa, never heard of it, the Chorus Kids, Orgamon from Digimon, Rillaboom, Cinderace and Toxtricity from Pokemon, Jibanyan from Yokai Watch, Donchan from Taiko no Tetsujin, and even this displeased bird. But it's not all about the nudity, even some clothing-clad newcomers managed to squeeze their way in using this formula, such as Heihachi, Shell from Portal, Karate Joe, and I think Evil Porky Minch. Are these socks or just white shoes? His fate really does depend on it. So that is 2 formulas down. However, if your favourite newcomer pick hasn't made an appearance by now, don't be too concerned, as our third formula might just save the day. who do our figures finger for a spot on the Fighter's Pass? Well, that's a big question. The two remaining digit counts, being 5 and 4, ensure that the vast majority of humanoid video game characters make it through. The heaving mass of newcomers endorsed by this mathematical method include Doomguy, Sora, Crash Bandicoot, Freddy Fazbear, Jonesy, Professor Layton, Epic Mickey, Rayman, Shantae, and yes, even Waluigi.
Waluigi #1!
So, those are all three formulas and which future fighters each predict. But what would happen if we, say, combined them together to find the fighters that tick as many boxes as possible? You know, like I said at the start. Well, I don't know. Let's find out. So, here we are. At the beginning of the video, we had thousands of potential picks, and now we're down to the 20 or so statistical show-offs that received math certification from two separate formulas. Please give a big hand, as long as it has 5 or 4 fingers, to Dante, Spyro the Dragon, Ryu Hayabusa, Waluigi, the Knight and Hornet, all the Sonic characters, Heihachi, Zero, Klonoa, Karate Joe. Quote, Rillaboom, Chibi Robo, long time no see, congratulations. Shell, Toad, Toad but in Captain flavour, Psylux, Bub and Bob, Master Hand, Bubsy Bobcat, Zacian, Zacian,
Zacian,
the dog from Pokemon, and Gex. Well done all of you. You've made your fans so proud. Nobody can take that away from you. But I promised you one fighter, not 20. Could there possibly be somebody who fits all 3 mathematical formulas with ease? Well, my research did find one. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. We're about to meet the fighter whose presence is so certain that Sakurai, no doubt, already has their action figure in his secret drawer. But who is the most mathematically likely newcomer to appear in Smash Bros. Ultimate? Yes, Birdo is back. With her gender no longer being a consideration, her confident nudity, and her Yoshi-like 4-fingered hands, Birdo has crawled her way out of the Smash Jail hellscape to reclaim her well-deserved spot as the most likely newcomer to appear in Smash Bros. Ultimate. Well done, Birdo. Well done, any characters who I forgot who also made the list. And well done me for getting it right the very first time. Which just goes to show you the math was never wrong, so I win, right? Yes, it says right here that I win YouTube. Oh, honestly, that is a load off my mind. Hey there, thanks for watching. Since you've clearly already subscribed to the channel, why not follow me on Twitch too? I'm playing a game of Jackbox with you lot right ruddy now, so head over there this instant to play along. Bye bye, I'll see you next time. Or on Twitch.